how to make 6 figures your first calendar year selling real estate. So this information is going to be good for new agents. It'll also be great for seasoned agents who still want to get to that number. And for those of you who are completely committed to earning 6 figures in a calendar year, if you watch this all the way through, after I give you the 5 tips to ensure that you make 6 figures, I'll give you some bonus information on specifically what not to do and what to avoid. Well, my first calendar year selling real estate, 9 months, I've made a whopping $13,000. Right? That's not something people put you on a panel on to discuss. Certainly wouldn't watch a YouTube video to figure out how you did that. So I made all the mistakes so you don't have to, right? Now, subsequently, my next calendar year broke the 6-figure mark, then went on to sell over 100 homes a year for the last decade, did 200 deals a year twice. I have a coaching company with 100 coaching clients throughout the United States and internationally that I've taught these tactics and tips to, and they've produced multiple 6 figures in their careers in a calendar year. So the first thing that I would propose or suggest, if you're committed, is you're gonna have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. And just like any other business, if you wanna get it off the ground, you're gonna have to put on a substantial amount of time. The second step or suggestion would be is you really have to focus on outbound prospecting. You know, being on the phone, making calls for 3 to 4 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, being out in the field, knocking on doors, some form of being in the presence of prospects. Because I think part of the reason why people are not successful in real estate, which has a massive attrition rate, 80% of agents in the first calendar year are doing something else after that calendar year, is because people aren't very clear as far as what they've gotten themselves into. The third suggestion would be is you really have to focus on your skills, right? Because this is 100% a skill-based business. There's 20,000 agents in the multiple listing service in my geographic area. There's only 100 of us, myself included, who do over 20 million in volume in a calendar year. Well, why is that? Because the money's not in the service, the money's in the selling of the service. It's knowing how to sell the service that is the difference between people who make, $1 million a year and people who make $50,000 a year. Making a commitment to skills, and the commitment that I made to skills once I realized that is I started role-playing twice a day, 6 days a week, right? Learning what to say and how to say it. The fourth tip that I would propose or suggest to you is that all the leverage is on the listing side. And working with sellers is just a much more leveraged activity. So if I'm on, shooting this video with you right now, we have listings and somebody could be showing them and selling them. You can't really do that with buyers, right? So you have to make a decision. You can't be world-class at both. I made a decision early in my career that I was specifically going to focus on and master the listing side of the business. Making that decision has allowed me to list over 100 properties a year for the last decade. Step number 5 is getting proximity to a teacher, coach, or mentor, somebody who's just a little bit further down the path, right? And the reason you want to do that is because it condenses decades worth of learning into days, weeks, and months. It only costs us about $1,000 to get a real estate license. You get a C on a test and not be a felon yet. I mean, that's really the barrier to entry. So we understand, kind of going to, let's say, college or a university and spending $40, $50, $100,000 for some sort of degree that's supposed to equip us for a job. And yet, in this industry, it's kind of interesting. We just have $1,000, get a license, and then we don't imagine that there's more education that's required. And that's just an unrealistic expectation, and that's part of the reason why, in my professional opinion, there's such a high attrition rate. So there's 2 routes you can go as far as education is concerned and getting proximity to a teacher, mentor, coach. One is you partner with someone as far as being on someone's team. Right? And what you're looking for there is somebody who's going to give you leads. They have a system or a CRM that's dialed in, and you can just focus on prospect, lead, follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate deals. And you're working to learn, not necessarily working to earn, right? Because there's going to be a split dynamic. So you're going to pay for it. The second option is to get a real estate coach, right? Somebody who has sold properties in high volume over an extended period of time, so they can download their software from their head to you, right? And in doing so, it'll radically increase the learning curve. So those are my suggestions if you want to make a minimum of 6 figures in a calendar year, whether you're a new agent or a seasoned agent. And for those that are committed and have been watching all the way through, what I'm giving you now is specifically what not to do, some bonus material. So the first thing that I would suggest that you definitely not do is to buy leads. Okay, it's not predictable, it's not duplicatable, and it's also capital intensive, right? So I wouldn't do that. I would focus on acquiring the skills and that foundation that's going to allow you to build a career, versus kind of be like a one-hit wonder. The second thing that I would definitely not do is, spending money on kind of lead gen via social. I wouldn't do that either. Again, the reason being is you want to focus on developing the mindset, developing the schedule, developing the skills that are required to actually do this in up and down markets. And doing so will mean that you have longevity in this business and not just a short kind of period of time. Third thing that I would definitely not do is to take rejection like seriously. We're in the rejection business, and this job of being a real estate agent, it's not kind of like physically hard, right? It's not like putting roofs on houses in Florida when it's 100 degrees outside. You get to stand in air conditioning and go blah, 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 right? What's hard is dealing with the mental kind of, rejection that you get, high levels at a regular basis, just people telling you no. Don't focus on so much the results at the beginning. Focus on the activities that lead to the results. It's part of the game. It's part of the deal. Deals will fall apart. Leads will list with other people. You just need to understand that and keep chugging. So I hope that helps. And if this video was helpful to you, be sure to watch the next one.